Phantasialand is one of the best theme parks in the world. This park's theming is over the top in the best way possible. And this top-notch atmosphere is combined with some of the most impressive and unique thrill rides in the world. It is rare to find a park that can blend these two elements so flawlessly, but Phantasialand does it. Find out why this park needs to be on your bucket list in this review. Located in Brühl, Germany, Phantasialand opened back in 1967. But you won't find any rides here from the 1960s or 1970s, and the two that opened in the 1980s are rumored to be on the way out. Why is that? This park's size. Phantasialand covers just 69 acres. That is extremely tiny for a park of this scale. For reference, this park is roughly half the size of Disney's Hollywood Studios. So in order to add something new, Phantasialand almost always has to remove something. This is one of the reasons many areas of the park feel so fresh and modern. The park turned one of their biggest restrictions into a positive. It forces them to constantly evolve. Phantasialand manages to use almost every inch of the park effectively. This is one of the densest theme parks in the world. Rides are layered and stacked on top of each other, which not only saves space, but it also adds a ton of kinetic energy as you navigate through each land. The other obstacle Phantasialand must deal with are the nearby locals. The park also has height and noise ordinances, and the park has creatively dealt with these issues over the years. Many of their attractions are located indoors. This includes their tallest attraction, Mystery Castle, which is a 213-foot or 65-meter tall drop tower, plus multiple dark rides, multiple roller coasters, and even entire themed areas. Their largest roller coasters are located outdoors, but they're dug in trenches and surrounded by sound walls. In the case of Taron, the sound walls are the themed mountains of Klugheim. In the case of Black Mamba and F.L.Y, the sound barriers are the luxurious hotels. Again, what should be obstacles work to the guest's advantage. It forces the park to creatively place and theme these attractions, which results in memorable, one-of-a-kind experiences you cannot get elsewhere. You feel fully immersed inside the park's boundaries, but the park runs right up alongside a roadway. Just look how close you are to the real world. It is unbelievable, and you'd have no idea while you're walking around the Africa or Rookburgh sections of the park. As amazing as the park is, Phantasialand's entrance is comically small and bland. It looks like a bus station, and I'm pretty sure it doubles as one. Each of the three hotels has its own entrance that looks a little nicer, but everyone is treated to a grand reveal once inside the park. Phantasialand spares no expense when it comes to theming. The level of detail is so immense that the park feels like something out of a dream. And it's not just the visuals. Many rides and areas have incredible original soundtracks as well. Running through the themed areas, the first land is Berlin. This is a narrow entry street that serves as the park's Main Street USA. The architecture captures the style of a sleek German village and is complemented by some beautiful flowers and rides. On one end of the street, you have a gorgeous double-decker carousel. On the other end of the street, you have Wellenflug, a zero chair swing that spins around with synchronized water fountains. If you head right, you'll find yourself in Mexico. This section blends the feel of a traditional Mexican town with the archaeological ruins of the Aztecs and Mayans. The two concepts are blended seamlessly, and it creates an interesting dynamic, with the Talocan Topspin and Chiapas Log Flume being the two most notable rides in this area. Deep in Africa teleports you to a quaint village in the middle of the jungle. The foliage in this area is exceptional. Every building has little details and artwork, and then the land brings the energy with Black Mamba, the B&M invert that runs over and under pathways. Chinatown is an area that's rumored to get an overhaul soon. Aesthetically, the land is still strong with the oriental buildings and decorations. The rides in this area just aren't as strong as the other areas. The next area is a mystery section that also includes Klugheim. The latter is the park's signature area. This mining town is tucked amongst these giant silver mountains, and the area is dominated by Taron, the intimate multi-launch coaster that is nearly impossible to follow. There is also a smaller section just outside the main borders of Klugheim that still looks solid, but just doesn't have the same feel to it. The fantasy section is comprised of two areas. You have a large outdoor section around Moon Lake with gentler rides, and then a whimsical indoor section known as Woo's Town, bursting with energy thanks to the dual tracks of Windjust twisting about. Lastly, there's Rookburgh. This aviation and steampunk themed land is gorgeous, and F.L.Y is integrated into the area similarly to Taron. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. It's easy to get lost in this park's level of immersion, and in fact, it's easy to get lost in general. The park may be small in size, and all the lands may be stacked up against each other, but until you're familiar with this park's layout, you may struggle to get around. This park has a lot of pathways jutting into and out of an area, and those pathways sometimes change elevation too, making it even trickier to determine where you're going next. Then once you reach your desired area, it may still be a challenge to find a ride's entrance. The most egregious example of this is Colorado Adventure. This mine train coaster is located in the Mexico section of the park, but you actually have to loop around through the China section just to access the pathway that leads to its entrance. Then with F.L.Y and Taron, you can see the coasters roaring overhead, but you need to navigate the labyrinth of pathways in the respective areas to get to the start of the line. Speaking of lines, you may have to wait a while if you visit Phantasialand during peak season. In the summer, rides like Taron and F.L.Y often have waits hovering around the hour mark. And if you want to wait for the front row specifically, there are separate queues towards the end of each ride that'll add quite a bit to your wait. The other major rides tend to have more manageable waits, ranging between 15 and 30 minutes during this time period. If you want to maximize your rides, particularly in the two main coasters, I strongly recommend visiting in the fall or winter. Phantasialand typically opens at 9 a.m. and per the calendar, rides are not supposed to open until 10 a.m. However, I found a few rides in Berlin plus F.L.Y would open by 9 or 9:15. I strongly recommend starting your day with F.L.Y, as I was able to get 2 to 3 rides on F.L.Y before the other major rides opened at 10 a.m., which really helped me get ahead of the crowds. Phantasialand is notorious for closing queue lines early. There are display boards posted throughout the park stating not only a ride's current wait time, but also the time the queue line will be closed for the day. In my most recent visits, F.L.Y and Taron closed their queue lines an hour early. Other rides close their lines roughly 15 to 30 minutes early. So definitely plan ahead which ride you want to finish your day with, because you're going to have to get in line with a little buffer. Lines do move quickly at least, as most rides have super high capacities. Phantasialand runs many vehicles in each attraction with swift dispatches. If you want to cut your wait times further, you have two options. First, you can utilize the single rider lines. The ones on Taron, Reich, and Chiapas have helped immensely in past visits. Second, you can purchase quick passes to skip the lines on the most popular rides. Choice seating is not possible with Quick Pass, but you do skip most of the wait, so it's okay. It's also worth noting the service is typically not offered in the park's newest attraction, which currently applies to F.L.Y. However, if you stay at Hotel Charles Lindbergh in Rookburgh, you will get a special one-time skip the line pass for F.L.Y. On that note, let's talk about the hotels. Phantasialand has 3 beautiful hotels just a stone throws away from the park, with the same level of detail as the theme park. Hotel Lingbao is located adjacent to China, and has similar style and architecture. Hotel Matamba is built on the border of the Africa section of the park, offering neat views of Black Mamba. Then Hotel Charles Lindbergh is built around and integrated into Rookburgh. It's such a unique location to be able to essentially stay within the park's borders. This hotel does have the smallest rooms by far, but the amenities are the best in my opinion. And I find the hotel prices are reasonable given their quality, location, and perks. One of those perks previously was extra ride time. I believe this was suspended due to COVID, but hopefully it returns in the future because it was a major benefit in my 2017 visit. Moving on to the ride lineup, this is another area where Phantasialand really shines. The park has 7 different roller coasters, many of which are immersively themed. The way the coasters interact with their surroundings are matched by very few coasters, particularly thrill ones. F.L.Y is the newest of the bunch. The prototype launched Vekoma flying coaster embodies the feeling of flight better than any other ride. The way you weave through Rookburgh is just pure fun. You soar over, under, and between the ride itself, pathways, and buildings. The layout is near impossible to memorize, and the visuals are breathtaking. And the ride is surprisingly forceful too. If you ride in the back row, almost every valley delivers crushing positive Gs. It is one of the best rides in the world for positive Gs in that row. Then you also have a half dozen airtime moments, which is a really weird and welcome sensation on a flying coaster. This is easily my favorite ride in the entire park, and one of my favorite coasters in the world for reasons I talk about in a separate review. Taron has many of the same elements as F.L.Y. You have 2 launches, immersive theming, amazing visuals, a convoluted layout, and a half dozen airtime moments. Just replace the flying coaster ride system with an intimate sit-down LSM launch coaster. Both halves of Taron start strong between the forces, sense of speed, and sightlines. I do find that both halves slow down towards the end, but the visuals never relent. I have a separate review for this coaster, but Taron is a fantastic experience. Also integrated in a Klugheim is Reich. It can honestly be tricky to separate this coaster from Taron at first because both have dark black track. This is a short family boomerang from Vekoma. The drops are decent and the turns have some nice sightlines to them. Since Phantasialand doesn't have a true kiddie coaster, this is probably the most approachable coaster for kids, even though it goes both forwards and backwards. Black Mamba was the first major ride that really put this park on the radar for coaster enthusiasts. This Balger Mabillard invert features a familiar series of inversions at the start, all of which are great, and then the second half features a unique series of twists and turns and helixes on the way back to the station. Along with the layout being pretty good and forceful on its own, the visuals and landscaping around the attraction really elevated to make it one of the better inverts out there, and I go into more detail in its own review. Windjust is a duo of Mauer spinning coasters. While the statistics for these 2 tracks look pretty pedestrian, the layouts have a lot of quirky elements that make them memorable. If you want spoilers, go check out a POV, but it's best to go into this attraction with no idea what happens. I prefer the fear side, but both tracks are among the best spinning coasters out there because of their bizarreness. Colorado Adventure is a super long Vekoma mine train. The ride weaves its way through Mexico and caves, mixing in the occasional drop that can actually give a little bit of airtime. And you also have an extended indoor section in total darkness with random positive Gs and laterals you cannot anticipate. Ride this one in the back row if you want the wildest ride possible. In general, most of Phantasialand's rides will remain open in the rain. However, if it does rain, Colorado Adventure can have some difficulties, and if it does open, the back 2 cars may be closed off. Crazy Bass is the oldest coaster still operating, and it definitely shows its age. This enclosed Vekoma family coaster features 3 lift hills and a ton of track, but it just doesn't do much with it. You meander about in the dark, getting no forces nor visuals. Before the pandemic, this coaster did operate with VR, which may help improve the ride experience, but the coaster still struggles to stand on its own in an otherwise stacked ride lineup. Another nearby ride that has been closed for years is Hollywood Tour. This was a decent dark ride that felt like Pirates of the Caribbean's boat ride system married with the theme of the Great Movie Ride. The scenes were on the older side, but they covered a wide range of popular films and had plenty to look at. The other dated dark ride is Geister Rickshaw. This felt like Disney's Haunted Mansion with an oriental twist. This ride is antiquated and very slow paced, but the sets are expansive at least. Fengju Palace is a solid Vekoma madhouse. The ride is an interesting pre-show before the main experience, where you get a convincing inverting effect plus some theming. The one modern dark ride in the park's lineup is Mouse Out Chocolat. a 3D interactive shooter. Using the same ride system as Toy Story Midway Mania, you use pastry shooters to take aim at mice in a bakery. The ride is just as addictive thanks to the pleasing pop guns. I find the small mice targets a little tricky to spot and shoot, but that just adds to the challenge. I would love to see Phantasialand at another major dark ride in the future, given how much their theming has improved over the years. While not a true dark ride per se, the park also is one of my favorite fun houses in Hotel Tardif. It can be easy to miss in the Berlin area, but this attraction is arguably the most well-themed funhouse in the world. I love the look of each scene, and they're combined with enjoyable gags such as spinning floors and shaking platforms. Then the finale has a very fast, near-vertical slide. Phantasialand also has two of the best water rides in the world. Chiapas is an incredible log flume from Intamin. The ride feels like the marriage of Splash Mountain and Ripsaw Falls. Most of the ride takes place around, on top of, and inside these detailed ruins. Then you also have an exciting drop sequence, including a sizable final plunge with a speed hill afterwards. Check out my separate review of Chiapas if you want to hear more, but I love this ride. River Quest is one of the wildest river rapids rides in the world. Built by F.L.Y, this attraction is barely any rapids. Instead, it has three crazy drops. The first one pinballs you off the side of the trough. The second has a whirlpool spiral followed by a steep plunge that can give airtime. And the third is the steepest of the bunch. You are almost guaranteed to come off this ride drenched from the resultant splashes. Now, flat rides are not the major focus of Phantasialand, but there are a few noteworthy ones because of their theming. Mystery Castle is an excellent drop tower. This intimate creation features a unique ride system offering some nice floater airtime, and the attraction is paired with some creepy effects both during the ride itself and the long queue line through the castle. Talocan is the world's best top spin. This one is engulfed by a curved wall with hieroglyphics which mess with your sense of direction. And then the forceful series of flips is paired with water and fire effects. This attraction is a spectacle both on and off ride. The aforementioned Wellenflug is one of the most impressive swing rides in the world because of the interaction with the fountains. The cycle itself is on par with the other iterations out there in terms of speed and forces. The fantasy area of the park is the best section for younger guests. This area has a lot of slower rides that can be enjoyed by guests of all ages. The one noteworthy one is the Tittle Tattle Tree, which is a unique observation ride in the center of Woostown, where you rise up and down a tower while standing in these buckets. It's not a must by any means, but I've never seen another ride quite like it, and the views of Windjust are pretty cool. I'd say there are other parks that cater more to kids, but Phantasialand is still respectable in this area, especially because the visual splendor can be appreciated by all as you make your way through the park. Moving on to the food, get the pizza. This thick crust pizza is not only some of the best theme park food out there, but it's some of the best pizza period. You can find it on the bridge linking Mexico to Berlin. If you haven't been able to tell, I strongly recommend Phantasialand. As of 2022, this park costs €57 per person, which makes it one of the pricier parks in Europe, but based on this park's quality, it is absolutely worth it. The detailed theming and atmosphere between the lands and attractions is matched by few parks, especially ones that can offer a strong lineup of thrill rides like Phantasialand. It's amazing being able to ride world-class coasters like F.L.Y. and immediately get lost in the beauty of a themed land that may even top those at a Disney park. This park really is about quality over quantity. I strongly recommend at least 2 days at Phantasialand, especially if you visit during a peak period. This will give you plenty of time to ride everything multiple times and soak in all the details. If you visit during a lighter period, you probably could do everything in one day, but I'd still prefer 2 days because I love this park so much. This is one of the top 5 best theme parks in the world, and a park I cannot wait to return to. Is it the best park in Germany though? I think so, but Europa Park is darn close. Europa Park has more to it, but I prefer what Phantasialand has if that makes sense. Both are elite though. So those are my thoughts on Phantasialand, the amazing theme park in Germany. What are your thoughts on this place? Do you agree this park is world class? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.